Wireworking is so much fun, and choosing the right wire for your project will really go far in helping you create something amazing. Understanding a few key points in choosing wireworking wire will really help you on your journey to becoming the best designer you can be. I'm Patti, a jewelry designer here at Fire Mountain Gems and Beads. I make all kinds of jewelry, but wireworking is where my heart is. I've specialized in that for many years, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about wire. In this video, I am going to talk about 5 things you should know about choosing wireworking wire.
Get our email newsletter for beading news, sale announcements, new product announcements, and more. Link is in the description below.
Hardness. Wire hardness is really important when choosing your wireworking wire for your projects. If you're not familiar with it, hardness refers to how easily the wire bends or how malleable it is, or how well it holds its shape. So there are several different kind of grades of hardness to know about. The first one is dead soft. Dead soft is when your wire is really, really easy to wrap tightly. Here's an example of some dead soft wire. You can see that just with very little effort, it'll bend and stay where I bent it. It's very malleable. The drawback to dead soft is it doesn't hold an unsupported shape very well, so you want to have it wrapped around something else to hold that shape. The next grade or level would be half hard. And half hard is a great wire. It's kind of a universal one that a lot of people use. You can still wrap with half hard. Here is an example of that. And it takes not a lot of force, but more force. It's more springy. It wants to spring back a little more than the dead soft will. It will hold an unsupported shape, but it's also something that you can wrap with. And then last, we go to full hard. I don't use full hard a whole lot because it's not as versatile as the other two. But full hard is just more springy, it's harder, and it will hold an unsupported shape, but you don't want to try and wrap with it. As an example of different hardnesses of wire in a piece, here's this beautiful Tree of Life necklace. You can see that around the outside, I have this kind of round oval shape, and I really wanted to hold that round oval shape, so I used a half hard wire to create that frame. And then within the frame, I have this tree with all these little bends, and I had to twist the wires together. So I used a dead soft wire to create the little bends and to be able to really easily wrap those wires together. And it's all supported by this frame, so that works. Skill level. When you're beginning, you make a lot of mistakes, and that's a normal thing to do. And the most forgiving wire to learn with would be round wire. This is an example. Round wire, kind of a large one. Round wire is kind of universal. A lot of people use this of all skill levels, but this is what I recommend learning with. It's really forgiving. It doesn't take tool marks as easy as some of the other wires, and it's really just a good place to start. Now, if you have practiced a little bit and are ready to go on to something a little more challenging, you might try square wire. Square wire is actually square, so if you were to look at the end of it, it's square, so it's got edges and it looks bevelly, it's more blingy, it's beautiful to work with. But it is a little bit more challenging. You have to learn how to bend it without twisting it and keep it nice and straight and even. It also takes tool marks more easily. So different wires definitely have different skill levels. For beginners, start with the round. Your project. The project that you're choosing to do is a big indicator of what kind of wire you're going to choose for your project. Does it need to be bare or coated and colored? Would you like it to be thicker or thinner, harder or softer? There are a lot of things to consider. So Choose your project first and your wire second. Like in this project, I made these really cute earrings. They're just great. They're a stainless steel hoop, and I wanted a really nice contrast in my wire. I wanted to see the wire. And so I chose this really great magenta wire in a very thin gauge. I was able to use colored wire on this because this isn't going to touch my skin. They're earrings that are just going to dangle. So I'm not going to wear off that coating. It's perfect for this kind of project. If I were making, say, a ring, like what's on my finger, I would never choose coated wire for that because it touches my skin all the time and the coating is going to come off. So make sure that you consider all the factors. Is it touching your skin? Is it not touching your skin? Do you want it to last a long time? Does it not need to last a long time? In choosing the wire for your piece. Hole size. The hole size of your beads make a big difference in which wire you're going to choose. A lot of times, gemstone beads have very, very tiny holes, and you don't even realize that until you get them. And so maybe you want to use a 20 gauge wire for your project, which is a pretty standard wire, but it won't fit through. So you have to find something else. So if you look at these little sunstone beads that I have here, they're just beautiful, native to Oregon where we are. But they have a real tiny hole. There's not a lot that's going to fit through there, but I can still wire work them if I choose something like this very tiny 28 gauge wire. You can see this wire is very, very thin. It's almost like thread. And it's very malleable, and it's going to fit through my beads so I can still use those beads in a wire working project. Now, sometimes you have a very large hole bead like these. Putting a thin wire through this will make them very loose and kind of sloppy. They'll go back and forth on the wire, and you might not want that. And so if you were going to wire work with these, I would choose a much heavier wire like that. This one is a 14 gauge wire. Longevity. Longevity is something you should think about when choosing your wire working wire. What I mean by that is how long you really want that piece to be around. If it's something that you want for a lifetime and you want to pass down, kind of like this really beautiful Sleeping Beauty turquoise necklace, I used sterling silver wire on that because there's not a coating that's ever going to come off. It's going to be beautiful forever. It has a really special luster. It makes a really nice long wearing piece. And for these trendy earrings, these really cute sun and moon earrings, this is something that I'll probably wear for a few years. It's something that's more of a trend, and it's not something I need to last for 10 or 20 or 30 years. So on that, it's okay to use a coated wire like this Pear Wire Jeweler's Bronze. Now that you've learned these 5 important things in choosing wire working wire, I hope that you take that forward with the creative spark that I know that you have and use it to bring your wire work to life. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and sign up for our email newsletter. I'll see you next time.